The limits of time. Can you really change the past? Time. The one force we all feel, but can never hold. It flows through our fingers like sand, impossible to grasp, yet shaping every moment of our lives. We measure it in seconds, in hours, in years. But in truth, time is measured in memories, in the choices we made, in the regrets we carry, in the moments we would give anything to return to. Every person alive has asked the question, even if only in the silence of their own mind. Can I change the past? Could I undo a mistake? Say the words I should have said? Take the path I didn't take? It is not science that drives this question. It is the heart. Regret is the heaviest weight a human soul can carry. And time, merciless and unrelenting, offers no mercy. The past is fixed, or so we believe. But what if the universe is not as rigid as we think? What if time is not a straight line, but a river with bends and currents, eddies and loops? We swim against it. Could we rewrite our story? Einstein once said, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." To him, time was not a flowing arrow, but a fabric stretched across reality. Every moment still existing somewhere, waiting, eternal. And here is where hope enters. If the past still exists, then maybe it is not gone. Maybe your laughter, your first kiss, the touch of someone you lost. Maybe they still echo in the folds of time. Maybe you could go back. But here lies the danger. If you could change the past, would you? What if changing one small detail undid everything else? What if erasing your deepest regret also erased your greatest joy? The power to change the past is not just science fiction, it is temptation. Temptation that could unravel the very fabric of who we are. Scientists today debate this endlessly. Wormholes, cosmic strings, quantum entanglement, all theories that suggest time may not be as locked as we imagine. But beneath the physics, beneath the equations, remains the deeper human question. Are we meant to change the past, or to learn from it? Because maybe the truth is this: it isn't the past that needs to change. It's us. The past has already spoken. But how we live now, how we carry those lessons, how we forgive ourselves, how we choose differently, that is where time still bends. So can you change the past? Or can you only change the way it lives inside you? This is the first step into the mystery of time, where science and sorrow meet, and where hope still lingers in the spaces between seconds. Imagine for a moment a doorway in space, a tunnel that connects to points in the universe, not just across distance, but across time. Physicists call this a wormhole. To us, it is the closest thing to magic. A path where yesterday might still exist, waiting on the other side. The theory is simple, yet breathtaking. If space and time are woven together into one fabric, what we call space-time, then bending space might also bend time. And if you could fold that fabric even just a little, you could step not only across galaxies, but into yesterday. But here's the tragedy. Even if the universe allows such doorways, they may never be stable. Like fragile soap bubbles, wormholes collapse under the slightest pressure. The past remains visible, but unreachable, like a shadow on glass. And yet, the idea of changing the past refuses to die, because science is not the only force here. Hope is. Hope that we can undo loss. Hope that we can fix what is broken. Hope that we could stand at the fork in the road again, and this time choose differently. This is the heart of the grandfather paradox. Imagine traveling back in time to stop a mistake, perhaps even preventing your own parents from ever meeting. If you succeed, then you would never exist. But if you never existed, who went back to change the past? This is where logic begins to break. Time loops in on itself, contradictions pile up, and the very question seems to mock us. If you could change the past, would the past even exist anymore? Every regret carries with it unseen threads. You might erase your pain, but also your joy. You might save someone and lose someone else. To play with time is to play with every heartbeat that followed. Some scientists suggest a way out of the paradox, the multiverse. In this theory, every choice we make, and every choice we didn't make, exists in another universe. If you could travel back, you wouldn't rewrite your own past. You would simply slide into another branch of reality, another timeline where things unfolded differently. It's a comforting thought. Somewhere out there, in another world, you never made that mistake. Somewhere you held on to the one you lost. Somewhere you lived the life you wish you had. But does that help us here in this world? Or does it only deepen the ache of knowing we will never touch that other self? Science may give us theories, equations, and possibilities, but it cannot soothe the human soul. It's because when we ask, can we change the past? What we are really asking is, can I heal the part of me that still hurts? And the answer may not lie in physics. It may lie in forgiveness. Forgiveness is the closest thing we have to time travel. It does not change what happened, but it changes how we carry it. Forgiveness rewrites the weight of memory, softening the pain, leaving behind not chains but lessons. The past remains unchanged, but the heart begins to heal. So maybe the question is not, can I change the past? Maybe the question is, can the past change me? If it can, then time is not a prison. It is a teacher. The limits of time. Can you really change the past? History itself is full of regrets. If only someone had spoken sooner. If only a decision had been different. If only one act of kindness had replaced an act of violence. The course of the world might have changed forever. We look back at wars, at tragedies, at leaders who chose destruction instead of peace, and we whisper to ourselves, what if? But what we forget is this. History is not made only by leaders and battles. It is made by millions of small choices. A pause, a word spoken, a word left unsaid. And sometimes, the smallest choice carries the weight of eternity. Every person has their own private history too. A loved one we wish we had called one more time. A moment when anger spilled out instead of love. A day when silence cost us someone we'll never see again. And in the quiet of the night, we think if only I could go back, just once. But here's the truth that time forces us to face. We cannot. The past is not a door we can reopen. It is a painting already dried, every brush stroke fixed. And yet, inside us, the desire remains like fire, to undo, to redo, to heal what we cannot touch. Is why rituals exist. Not to change the past, but to honor it. A funeral, a memorial, even the act of telling stories about those who are gone. These are our ways of reaching across the wall of time, of saying, I remember you, I love you still. And strangely, even though we cannot go back, memory itself is a kind of time travel. When you close your eyes and think of a moment, a laugh, a face, a place you once stood, your heart does not know the difference. For a breath, you are there again. You feel it as if it is now. In that way, the past is never truly gone. It lives in us. But memory is double-edged. It can comfort us, or it can haunt us. Regret is a ghost that whispers endlessly, you could have done better. You should have done better. And though time has locked the past, the ghost remains, following us through every day we live. This is the prison of what if. What if I had studied harder? What if I had stayed? What if I had left sooner? What if I had been kinder? The doors of the past remain locked, but our minds rattle the handles, desperate to go back in. And yet, if you listen carefully, there's a lesson hidden in the ache. Every moment you live now, every choice, every word, every silence, is tomorrow's past. Today is the memory you will carry forever, and that means you still hold the brush. The painting is not yet finished. Perhaps the reason we cannot change the past is because the past is meant to change us, to make us softer, kinder, to remind us of the fragile weight of every choice, to whisper, do better now, love harder now, because you will not get this moment again. So yes, we cannot go back, but we can go forward differently. And maybe, just maybe, that is the closest thing to changing the past we will ever have. But here lies the truth. Every time you imagine fixing the past, you are also imagining erasing pieces of yourself. Because pain, as cruel as it feels, is part of the brush that painted your soul. Without it, who would you be? The limits of time are not walls meant to punish us. They are guardians. Guardians that whisper, you cannot go back. but you can go forward. Forward, with memory as your teacher. Forward, with grief transformed into compassion. Forward, with every wound you carry, becoming the seed of empathy that may heal another. What if the true gift of time is not its ability to bend backwards, but its invitation to grow upwards, to take the unbearable weight of yesterday and somehow turn it into wings? Imagine for a moment that the past does not need to be changed, only honored. That your mistakes do not demand erasure, but understanding. That the people you lost are not asking you to rewrite history, but to carry their memory forward, keeping them alive in your choices, in your love, in the way you treat others. This is where tears often come. Not because we failed, but because we realize nothing is truly gone, if it still shapes who we are. Nothing is wasted if it pushes us toward becoming more human. So can you really change the past? Maybe not in the way science fiction promises, but you can change the way it lives inside you. You can change how its echoes ripple into the future. Maybe that is what time has been offering us all along. Because the greatest paradox of time is this: we cannot return to yesterday, but yesterday is never really gone. It is written into us, beats in our hearts, and moves through our veins. The limits of time do not bind us. They set us free, free to love more fiercely in the present. Free to forgive, free to let go. And maybe, just maybe, if we choose to live this moment fully, we will no longer need to change the past. Conclusion plus emotional story. We began with a question. Can we change the past? Science tells us almost certainly no. The laws of causality are too unforgiving, the threads of time too tightly bound. But maybe. The question was never about science alone. Maybe it was always about the ache inside us. That quiet wish whispered into the dark. If only I could go back. If only I could say goodbye. If only I could forgive. If only I could hold their hand once more. We chase time travel not because of physics, but because of love. Because time, cruel and relentless, carries away the people and moments we cannot bear to lose. There's a story told of a scientist who lost his daughter at a young age. Brilliant, accomplished. He devoted his life to studying time, to equations, wormholes, quantum theories. But his work wasn't just about science, it was about her. Every late night at his desk, every chalkboard filled with symbols, every sleepless calculation. It was all a prayer in disguise. A hope that he could find a way back to the moment before she slipped away. One night, exhausted, he dreamed he had succeeded. He walked through a glowing tunnel, and when he emerged, there she was, laughing, running in the grass, the sunlight in her hair. He reached for her hand, trembling, and for a second, it was real. But then, like all dreams, it dissolved. He woke up with tears on his face and finally understood. It wasn't about changing the past. It was about cherishing the love that had lived there. And maybe that's the truest answer. We cannot change what has already been, but we can honor it. We can let the past remind us to love harder in the present, to forgive faster, to hold on longer, to never leave words unsaid. Time will always slip through our fingers, but love once given never disappears. It becomes memory. It becomes legacy. It becomes the invisible thread that even time itself cannot break. So can we change the past? Perhaps not. But we can change ourselves. We can carry the past forward, shaping how we live, how we love, how we leave behind something better for those who come after us. And in that way, maybe we are all time travelers. Not to rewrite what has been, but to make sure that tomorrow we will have fewer if onlys, and more moments worth remembering. Because the past may be out of reach, but the present, this fragile, fleeting gift, is still ours.